Hey, it's Dane Scott with Fiverr.
Yes, I am.
Depending on your current status as a seller on Fiverr, you may have seen a new little toggle switch show up near the top of your gigs list on the list page there. And it says Get Briefs. For everybody who thought this maybe referred to their underclothing, no. Fiverr hasn't explained very much about it yet, but we know more than that. And I've got the inside track on it. I'll tell you what's going on coming up next.
The Gig Doctor.
Hey, stick around until the end today for a chance to get a free $50 head slapper video that'll show you how to learn the unlearnable and know the unknowable on Fiverr. It's something I've come up with that gets you an inside track on your buyers, and it helps you to succeed on the platform. All right, Furvy, he's riding the elevator up here out of the bowels of Fiverr to join us.
Yep, I live down in the Fiverr bowels.
If you think Fiverr's new Brief and Match feature sounds a little like it's intended to set someone's shorts on fire, you're probably not alone in that. But what's it really all about?
This ought to be good.
Well, first off, if you go to your gigs list page and you don't see the little toggle near the top, don't worry. Fiverr is rolling this out slowly, and I suspect that it's mainly going to be for the more established sellers, at least initially. So far, I think that's the case. In fact, at the time of this Gig Doctor, it's so new that there isn't a whole lot of documentation out on it yet. Fiverr does have like one page that explains it to buyers and one page that explains it to sellers. And I've also spoken to my success coach about it at Fiverr, and I've taken all this stuff together, and now I can tell you what I've been able to learn so far. The best way to start, I think, is to put it in perspective a little bit. Another Fiverr feature, buyer requests, has been around for years. It's a fairly Wild West, undisciplined area where anyone needing services performed can fill out a form indicating the category of service. And, they put down an asking price and they give a description of what they need. And I say Wild West because what these folks request is sometimes just bizarre or outrageous. And sometimes they expect to pay amounts of, for the services that aren't much more than slave labor. Needless to say, a lot of sellers are less than thrilled to buy what they're finding on buyer requests. Though a patient person with some time on their hands can find some good opportunities on there if they really take the time to look and answer as many of these buyer requests as they can possibly do that match their abilities and their pay expectations.
Actually, doesn't sound too good, does it?
No, Fiverr buyer requests is not the best thing always. And Fiverr knows this. They get it. So this is really the reason for the new Brief and Match service. It's designed to help elevate the experience for both buyers and sellers. It doesn't take the place of buyer requests, at least not at this time. But it's more of a service that kind of runs parallel to it. And here's how it works. Let's start at our end. Let's say we have access to the Brief and Match as a seller, and we can make ourselves available to the service by turning it on in our gigs list page and then typing a minimum payment amount that we're willing to work for. That amount is not set in stone, by the way. It's just a starting point for discussion with the buyer. That's all we have to do. So our end is done at that point. So the buyer wants a service. So they fill out a form similar to a buyer request form, but it's a little more detailed, and then they submit that. Rather than having to stumble upon that request in a lengthy list, we're actually notified directly that the buyer is interested in getting someone like us. And we're given the chance to respond in one of two ways. We can either respond with a custom offer right away, or we can answer them with a message. In either case, it becomes a communication between you and them that happens in your inbox, the same experience as we're used to having when someone contacts us and requests a custom quote, custom offer. The only difference is that it starts with a big notification from Fiverr that says, your service is a match, and then it supplies the information provided by the potential buyer. Now, when buyers submit a brief and you're a match for it, that's a great opportunity because it's a tailored lead that caters right specifically to your skill set, to your service, your pricing, your availability. And because buyers are only matched to the highest level quality sellers and the most relevant sellers, This narrows down the enormous competition in the marketplace dramatically. So it's definitely going to be a benefit to those who are in it, if they happen to get chosen at least. It certainly helps increase their chances of getting chosen to a certain degree. This doesn't mean that we're the only one that's going to be under consideration, of course. So it's a smart idea to respond as fast as possible when we get these notifications coming our way, because, the early bird tends to get the worm on this kind of thing. During the course of the brief and match communication with the seller, we'll see various status indicators. The first is opportunity. That means that a buyer's brief is currently active and they're accepting offers. This is the time to send your offer. Then canceled. That's pretty obvious. That means the buyer has chosen to stop getting offers, and so it's too late to send an offer. And even if you had sent an offer, maybe if they canceled, it wouldn't have made much difference. But at any rate, that's what canceled means. Accepted, of course, that's the good news. That means the buyer's accepted your custom offer for their brief, and it's time to get cracking. Or closed, that means that the buyer has accepted another seller's offer, and it's better luck next time. And then offer created. When you see that status, that means that a buyer hasn't accepted any offers received, but you have made an offer. So it's just kind of hovering out there. It hasn't been settled yet, and you still have a chance of being chosen. And there's more coming up here yet in this Gig Doctor, but I just want to stop for a second here and mention at the midway point that I'd love to hear from you, hear your comments on this new feature. Do you think it will be helpful? If you're offered it, do you think that you'll opt in as a seller? Also, hit the thumbs up and subscribe so I can keep you in the loop on all the latest Fiverr stuff. All right, so continuing on, it's important to note that we are not obligated to accept a match with a buyer. We can decline it for any reason we choose. Fiverr does plan to ask us why we declined, though, probably because the answers will help them to, refine future matches. Hopefully our declining doesn't affect our search rankings. I don't know how that's all going to play out, but we'll have to just kind of monitor that. At least on its initial rollout, Fiverr's intention here is to match higher profile Fiverr sellers with higher profile Fiverr buyers. So when the requests do come, they're going to be more lucrative, and we'll be dealing with a higher caliber of buyers, so less nonsense, and more of a professional experience can be expected. In particular, on the buyer's side, the focus will be on larger companies, they say, at Fiverr. And so we can expect that we're going to probably be communicating with a representative of a team rather than just an individual like a sole proprietor. When I spoke with my success coach the other day, Brief and Match was still not available yet officially to buyers. So apparently Fiverr is mainly focusing right now on getting sellers signed up for it. So if you've gotten the request, now would be the time, if you want to do it, to hit the little toggle switch on and put in a minimum amount that you're willing to be paid. And so as they're getting people signed up, once they've got, enough of a kind of a corral of talent there, then would be the point where they would turn it on for the buyer so that they can start searching. And they can start matching, sellers to tie them in with the brief and then the match. As a result, again, as of today, no offers have come to sellers yet, but we can expect that to change. How soon, I don't know. How often these requests come our way and how many people we will be competing with on these, that's some stuff that we also don't know yet. But whether you initially have access to this service or not, there are plenty of other ways to make good on Fiverr. And if you feel that you could be doing better, let's get together for a Gig Doctor session. We'll go through every aspect of your gig and we'll optimize everything to help you be found more often, clicked on, ordered from. There's a method to all this, and I can help you get in great shape. It's a one-on-one meeting over Zoom or Skype, and we'll cover a ton of stuff. I had one person say the other day, it's like drinking from a fire hose. So I always suggest that you record the session when we get together to make sure you get every single drop from it. Now, if you order it today using the special link that I'm going to put down here along with this video and podcast, you're going to get a free $50 Head Slapper video. Head Slapper 5 is what I call it. And it's about knowing the unknowable on Fiverr. It's another one of those things that make you go, oh, once I explain it to you, because that's what I did when it dawned on me. You're going to wonder why you haven't been doing it all along.
Okay, Are you done?
Yep, Furby, another one in the books. Visit thegigdoctor.com for a Gig Doctor session, follow-up booster shot. We got those too, head slappers and more, and I'll be around with another video soon. Thanks much.
Hello.
Hello?
Hello, I think.
Hello, cutie pie.
Until I heard the voice, I'd never done a crazy thing in my whole life.
Goodbye.